From the Gilbert Hall of Science, the makers of Erector, the world's greatest construction toy, and American Flyer, the world's most realistic electric trains. The only electric trains that run on real two-rail track, puff clean white smoke, and give off realistic choo-choo sounds, brings you the Boys Railroad Club, featuring American Flyer trains. Their guest today is a real railroader, Mr. T.L. Harris from the Union Pacific Railroad. The doors open. The boys are just getting started. So let's go inside and see what's going on.
Mr. Harris, it was swell of the Union Pacific Railroad to let you come down here and visit our railroad club.
Thank you.
Mr. Harris, Toby told me you lived on a ranch. So I brought my lasso so you could teach me some rope tricks.
Well, I do live on a ranch, son, but I don't know about those rope tricks. We just haven't figured out how a man can rope and tie a Union Pacific locomotive. You must be the tenderfoot on this railroad, son. What's your name?
I'm Herky. I'm an engineer. Well, at least a fireman.
Good for you, Herky. The Union Pacific could use a man like you.
The rest of the fellows want you to know their names. This is Ben, our train dispatcher.
How do you do, Mr. Harris? I'm pleased to know you.
How do you do, Ben?
Steve, our conductor.
Hi, Mr. Harris.
Steve?
Corky, the engineer.
Hi, sure glad to know you.
Hi, Corky.
And I'm Toby, and I'm president of our club.
Well, I sure feel right at home with all you railroaders.
And here's your special railroader's cap.
Thank you.
And a special spot on the observation platform for you.
Oh? Excuse me.
You can see the entire system from there.
Well, this is real Pullman style. I can even see the numbers on the boxcars from this seat.
We'll show you a set of trains that will remind you of your own railroad, Mr. Harris.
Well,
Let's go, fellas. Let's show it.
Come on, let's go.
Ready with the Western Division freight, Ben? Here's your famous engine, the Union Pacific 484.
That's real smoke, Mr. Harris, and real choo-choo sound.
that's our old reliable, all right. Running on two-rail track, too.
You bet. We wouldn't have three-rail track. We want our railroad to look real, so we have nothing but two-rail track.
He's going to back up. 3 blasts of a whistle means back up. What are you going to do with that freight train, Toby?
Well, I worked out a special freight train run for Mr. Harris. On the Union Pacific, between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City, there are some big mountains, and I want to show Mr. Harris how we operate on our Bald Mountain grade. Clear track!
Hear that diesel horn? That's built right into the locomotive, and we could make it blast just by pushing a button.
That's mighty fine music, that diesel horn. Try it again. Say, that's great, boys.
We're going into the grade on Bald Mountain. Watch that locomotive work.
Wow, look at that engine climbing. She made it easy. Oh, look, Mr. Harris. We put our oil derrick there because my dad said you have some big oil wells in your territory. Look at the oil bubbles in the pipe.
That's all, gang. Let's go. Okay.
What do you think of Mr. Harris?
Al.
There it is, Mr. Harris. The Union Pacific on rails.
Men, I'm homesick. Your fast freight reminded me of our 60-mile stretch of track over the Rocky Mountains between Laramie and Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's a 2% grade.
What's that, Mr. Harris? A 2% grade?
Well, Herky, when track climbs upward or slopes downward 1 foot for every 100 feet it goes forward, we call that a 1% grade. When it goes up or down 2 feet for every 100 feet, that's a 2% grade.
Yeah, interesting. Get it?
The fellas want to know about you. What job do you hold in the Union Pacific Railroad, Mr. Harris?
Well, I'm the assistant to Mr. J.W. Jarvis, head of the Union Pacific's Agricultural Department. You know, in our western states, we have some mighty big sheep and cattle ranches, and also some big wheat-growing areas and dairy sections. The purpose of our railroad's agricultural department is to work with the shippers and growers, the farm organizations, agricultural colleges, experimental stations, and any organization that's interested in the promotion and development of good agriculture in the territory served by the Union Pacific. Now, when I say stockyard, you boys will probably think of the famous Chicago stockyard. But it takes more than 1 yard to handle the cattle that are grown in Union Pacific's territory. We have many small stockyards located along the line for the convenience of shippers. Our local freight agent receives an order for cattle cars, and the local freight train delivers these cars to the stockyard. The small shipper would have 1, maybe 2 carloads of cattle to move, so he gets those cattle into the cars. Sometimes the local freight picks up the cars, or a regulation train may pick them up and take them all the way to a terminal market, like Cheyenne. Once they come out of a terminal market, they're really moving. You know, the Union Pacific operates daylight livestock specials that roar all the way from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles in 28 to 36 hours. Sometimes a passenger train has to move onto a siding and give these fast cattle trains the right of way. Speaking of passenger trains, the Union Pacific has some famous diesel streamliners on the rail. And it takes more than a fast cattle train to put those cracked streamliners into the hole. And I think there are some mighty pretty railroad sights on our western route. There's always something good for the eyes, whether you're looking from the outside in or from the inside out up beside the engineer. But we're talking about cattle, and our fast freight is near the end of her run. The big stockyard is waiting for beef. And our mighty locomotive is due for a checkup at the roundhouse. So, you can see how important it is that our railroads stay close to the farmer and rancher. It's a big job.
I'd rather be a Wild West engineer than a Wild West cowboy. That's what.
Say, gang, you know what we can do to make our railroad more like the Union Pacific?
Wow. Phyllis, we can use our new cattle loader. Oh, yeah. Come on, let's go.
Get ready, gang. Western cattle loading operation on the siding next to track 3. Here we go to the main yard to pick up some cattle cars.
Better give her a drink, Toby.
All right. Thanks for telling me, Steve. You can't make steam without water. There. Take a big drink, because we're going to haul cattle on the Union Pacific. Easy, Iron Horse. Don't shake up those cattle cars. There. Now let's check the switch onto the main line. I'll have to close it. Okay. Here we go to the cattle siding.
We're coming into the cattle siding, so get ready to lower the cars. All ready to load.
Mighty fine-looking beef you're loading, boys. You handle it like veterans, too.
Thank you.
Guess I cannot do you fellas on this railroad.
All loaded. Take them away.
for delivery of cattle.